Ah, the holidays, they're supposed to be magical, right? So much pressure. But if we're honest about it, they can really be complicated. We're talking about stepping back into maybe some old roles, navigating family expectations, juggling traditions, boundaries, emotions, and then, of course, the uncle who never reads the room. So today, we are going to talk about how to show up differently this holiday season, how to stay centered when everything around you is getting noisy and maybe a little complicated, how to honor your own peace and still show up with love. Remember, this is a joyous time of year. My guest today is somebody who understands the psychological patterns that we fall into during the holiday season. She is a flourishing favorite. You'll remember her, relationship expert, Laurie Gerber. She's going to give us some tools, practical tools to help us navigate the stress, the triggers that can come, maybe even tough conversations with more grace and self trust. So, whether you're walking into a house full of relatives or creating new traditions after change, maybe even choosing a quieter holiday altogether, this conversation is here to help you walk in grounded and walk out with your joy intact. So, let's settle in. Let's talk about how to flourish at the dinner table. Laurie, welcome back. It's so good to see you. I feel like it's been a stretch.
It's been too long. It's
I
time.
know.
It's
How's life?
time.
Quick catch up.
Life is so good. I moved. I moved to the country. I'm like a new
Hmm.
person. I don't even recognize myself.
I don't recognize you.
I'm just
No, I
just
do
not really
recognize
as
you.
stressed. It's weird.
Exactly. No, it's a weird that I understand. I'm not in the country, but I'm definitely in, let's say, suburbia land, and there's like ranch land around me and horses and cattle and stuff. So I get you. There's a peace that comes with that.
There were people this close to me at all times in New York City, and
Mhm.
now there's people way far away. So
Isn't it a
I
wonderful
can
thing?
I can it might be the menopause thing. I feel everything now. I feel everything extra. So I need
Uh-huh.
more space. I need more space, more
Yes.
room,
You
more
need
time,
less stimulation,
less
right?
stimulation. So this is
Well,
providing, and I'm looking at a beautiful snow and cows, and
mm,
I mean,
it's grand, isn't it?
it's a cliche of peace.
Yeah, I love that for you. And I love that is how we're teeing up this podcast is
Peace
that
is
we are
possible.
both coming from a place of peace, which is great. Thanksgiving has passed. We are now heading into the Christmas and Hanukkah season. And, there's so much stress that comes with the holidays. A lot of it's expectation. We're going to kind of dissect all of this stuff. But Lori, when we talk about holiday stress in general, what do you think is lying underneath the surface of all of that?
Okay. There's always the practical that we can start with, which is that everything you're normally supposed to do gets times by about 3. Right?
Hmm.
So there's just all your normal responsibilities, and especially as women, let's say age 50 to 70, the
Hmm.
responsibilities are still pretty great for our household, and sometimes career and household, sometimes kids, sometimes grandkids. So all of that just multiplies by now people are coming to visit, now I have to travel, now I have to
Yeah.
pack, now I have to buy gifts for everybody, now I have to write cards, I have to get the picture. It's just physically an a multiple of the usual. And then comes all of the people that you can avoid throughout the rest of the year. Now you have to deal with, and this is,
Hmm.
very present for me because I'm so sensitive now that I'm menopausal, is that you also feel everybody. And now they're
Hmm.
coming, or you're going to them, or they're so it's that additional weight also. So I think there's just no way around the holidays being a time of greater expectation and greater pressure and greater responsibility.
Mm.
And you really are supposed to make it magical, and you want it to be magical, and you want it to be this special thing. We put so much pressure. I actually have little reminders in my calendar starting in late October, early November that say December is coming. Beware, beware. And I
Warning,
put little
warning.
warning. I put little reminders.
Holidays are nearing.
Exactly. I mean, I should read you what it says in my little calendar, but it's
I
because
would love to hear it actually.
so many years I made the
Yeah.
same mistakes over and over.
Well, oh, okay. Well, I'm curious. I mean, you kind of opened the door. What were
Yeah.
those?
So one thing I do is I overcompensate. And again, I think as a woman in her 50s,
Mm.
I still have young children. I have adult
Hmm.
children. and I still have aging elders. So I am
Yeah.
this exact sandwich generation where I'm like managing everybody's needs and expectations. So I want to make sure every kid gets every gift they want and from the right people. And I want to make sure the grandmas get the gift, that all the relatives also are happy with the gifts they're giving and getting. So I'm managing everyone's gifts like a crazy person,
Mhm.
like I'm running a company. Personally,
Well, you're running a family, so that
right.
is like running a company.
Right. The funny thing is, I don't like gifts, right? Like I tell everybody the gift you could do is
Mm.
don't give me a gift. I'll just buy what I want. Like please don't, let's not test each other, please. So what my generation has done is we've all agreed not to give each other gifts, which is
Mhm.
like half the battle is over. Now we just have to deal with the elders and the youngins. But I have a little reminder, like you don't have to manage it. You don't have to do this. You don't, and I have a
Mhm.
reminder that there's double the work because you get a week off, you get 2 weeks off, the kids are off of school, there's the people coming and going and the visiting. So I just remind myself, like, you cannot add anything extra. I do that in June also, right? There's certain months of the year where it's like you don't add anything
Your
extra because
calendar is like thick with writing.
you're already double booked for the holidays. So those are
Yeah.
some of the reminders. And we're very nerdy, as you know about me. When I'm coaching people in relationship, I like to
Yeah.
really organize things. So we do planning meetings with the family.
Mhm. Well, you bring up something that piques my interest because it's twofold. Number one, we're talking to primarily women in the midlife space, which is a broad paintbrush. So there are the emotions and the hormonal roller coasters that we ride, which can make just a normal day a challenge. Now we're ramping up and getting into the holidays. That's number one. Number two is that, and this, as women, we are the thread that weaves the fabric together.
Mm,
If it's not for us, Thanksgiving, Christmas, all of the holidays don't come together because what guy does all of that? So, talk about a burden, right? That we're saddled with.
yeah. And some women just want to cancel. Actually, we canceled Thanksgiving this year because nobody wanted to do it. I live far
Mm,
away now. My husband's a saint. He would do it, but we're 5 hours from everybody else now. My mother's not, doesn't have the capacity, so we just
yeah.
we ate out. We all met at a hotel down south where it's warmer, and we booked a reservation. So I mean,
Yeah.
life hacks. Like you actually don't have to.
Mm,
You actually don't have to.
yeah.
So but my husband actually does do a ton, but he doesn't know what to do unless I ask. So that's the
Mm,
other hack is the asking for what you want and
yeah.
for what you need, and the collaborating about how to make it work for everybody. But
That's
what
right.
most
Well,
of us do, at least what I do, is I just freak out when I'm overstressed and then be mean to everyone, and then then I have to
yeah,
clean up that
a
mess
lot of
in
women are
addition.
nodding in agreement, like, I hear
Yeah.
you.
And then I
Well, and I
delegate the
mean,
to-dos, but first there's a drama, and
sure.
that's not necessary.
No, it's not. And it's wonderful, and a lot of people do have spouses that are great assists and will take over and all of that. And I agree with you. It is a collaboration more than anything else. Still, I mean, to your point, I think a lot of us have to come up with the punch list and then
Oh,
we are
for
blessed to
sure.
have those who can help execute. You brought up
Exactly.
something that I really liked too. And that is maybe a last minute pivot, honoring what's happening in the season. And I don't just mean the holiday season, I mean the season of life and what it is that you are going through. And to your point, if you have an ailing parent or logistics or people are just not, it's not coming together, it's okay to pivot, have that conversation, and be at peace about that.
Yeah. And let me tell you how to get away with that, because
Mm,
this is the real hack. This is what I try to do before every family gathering, vacation, holiday, is I say, what's important to you about this? What's your vision? What is it? And I ask everyone who's involved, not just the host,
mhm.
although the host matters a lot, because I want to know. And I'm really surprised by what I hear. I'm often surprised by what I hear. Like my
Mm,
kids will say, we just want to sit around and play games. Okay, that doesn't cost any
mhm.
money. We don't all have to agree. We don't have to go anywhere. We don't have to, like, wow,
Right.
that's not, I didn't know that's what was important to you.
Mm,
My mother in law will say, we just want to be together,
mm,
or, and often what my generation is managing is like, well, we need to do some work. Like we need to be able to go be by ourselves with our computers a few hours a day. So
Sure.
every generation is managing a different agenda and a different set of needs, but just asking. And sometimes I have to ask individually, and sometimes I have to, call a group meeting so everyone can witness everyone else. So I'm not the translator and telling everybody what everyone else said, which is another pitfall I have.
Mm.
But just the asking makes people feel heard and seen and loved, and then more flexible about what they can agree to. And then often my brilliant mind, because this is how my mind works, is like I collect what everybody wants and then I try to put it all in a spreadsheet. Like I try to figure out, how's everyone going to get what they want? How are we going to have work time for the adults and,
Mhm.
attention for the elders and games for the kids? And I try to put it all together so that we can actually do a lot of, or even smooth it out before we get together. Like, okay, we're not going to be able to do that. Or,
Mhm.
well, grandma needs this, or the kids need that. And sort of, I try to negotiate it in advance so that once I'm there, I can just have fun.
Well, it's so clever too, and because if you think about it, you're honoring everybody's needs, and that means that the holidays don't have to look the same every year, and I think that's one trap that a lot of people fall
Yep.
in. It's the same play every year, the same time we open presents, the same time we have the meal, the same, and it's not really honoring the changes in the people in the
Right.
household, the needs, and all of that. So, what a wonderful idea. Hello, we're back to communication. We should communicate with one another.
Brilliant.
Yeah, no, it really is. I have so many things that I want to ask you. I really, really, it is my hope and joy for people to move into this season and feeling good about it, feeling accomplished, feeling connected, feeling the love and the joy and the meaning of the season, and not coming away frazzled. So, Laurie Gerber is our guest today. She's a relationship expert, and Laurie, you and I connected. Dating in midlife, those are the series of podcasts that we've done, but I love how you are helping us journey through a lot of different seasons, and in this particular case, the holiday season. We're going to thank our sponsors, and we're going to be back right after this. Every year there's that one person who's so hard to shop for. And recently I learned a story about a loved one I thought I knew so well, and it just reminded me how important it is to capture family memories before they're forgotten. That's why I recommend Storyworth memoirs for your loved ones this holiday season. It might sound a little intimidating, but it's so easy. They're going to love it. It's a gift they won't see coming, something that makes them feel truly special. And it turns out it's a gift for you too. Each week, Storyworth emails a loved one a memory provoking question that you get to choose. Things like, what were your favorite toys as a child? Or what are you most proud of? All your loved one has to do is respond. They can either write a story over email or record it over the phone for Storyworth to transcribe. It's so easy with no apps or passwords required. Perfect for even the least tech savvy relatives. After a year, Storyworth compiles your loved one's stories and photos in a beautiful keepsake hardcover book. Photos are printed in vibrant color. It's a treasure your loved one and you will revisit for generations. And even though they've been around for years, they're still innovating with personalized questions, magic editor, magic layout, new book designs, and Spanish support. What's not changing? Customers love Storyworth. They have printed over 1 million books and preserved 35 million family stories with over 48,000 five-star reviews. I use this, and you should too. Give your loved ones a unique keepsake you'll cherish for years. Storyworth Memoirs. Right now, save $10 or more during their holiday sale when you go to storyworth.com/flourishing. That's storyworth.com/flourishing to save $10 or more on your order. You guys know how important it is to get enough protein in a day, and I finally found the best protein powder out there. Clean Simple Eats. I can't even tell you how long I've searched for something that tastes amazing and has clean ingredients. And this one checks every box. I love Clean Simple Eats because their protein powder has nothing artificial. Zippo. They are third party tested, non GMO, soy free, and there is zero added sugar. Each serving has 20 grams of grass fed whey protein isolate. What I love most is how incredibly creamy and smooth it is. Whether it's blended into my morning smoothie, shaken up on the go, or baked into one of my little sweet tooth but still healthy recipes, it is so yummy. And listen, we all know getting enough protein every day is important, and Clean Simple Eats makes it the most delicious way to do that. They have so many flavors to choose from, some new ones during the holidays. I always like the trusted and true vanilla because it goes with so much. But if you can't decide, they even have a variety pack so you can try individual servings of different flavors. And in addition to their best selling protein powders, they now have clear protein powder. Clear protein, all the hype right now, and Clean Simple Eats has the best one I've tried. The pink burst flavor, think of it as like a melted pink starburst in your water, and you get 20 grams of protein. They can barely keep it in stock. Visit cleansimpleeats.com. Use code flourishing20 at checkout for 20% off your first order. That's cleansimpleeats.com. Flourishing20 is your code for 20% off your first order. You know, there's something our parents and grandparents always say that sticks with us. And if you're so blessed to still have yours, it's those little reminders. Send me a picture. I miss your face. I just want to see you. And it's so meaningful to feel connected to them, even when life pulls us in different directions or distance gets in the way. That's why Aura Frames really is the perfect gift when all they want for Christmas is you. Aura makes it so easy to stay connected. You can upload unlimited free photos and videos. All you do is download the Aura app and connect the frame to Wi Fi. It takes seconds. You can even preload photos before it ships. So when they open it, the memories are already waiting for them. And the best part, you can keep adding new photos from anywhere, anytime. You can also personalize your gift by adding a message before it arrives. And the frame comes packaged in a beautiful premium gift box with no price tag. It's one of those gifts that feels thoughtful, intimate, and meaningful all year long because you can't wrap togetherness, but you can certainly frame it. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames, named #1 by Wirecutter by using promo code FLOURISHING at checkout. That's AURA frames.com, promo code FLOURISHING. This deal is exclusive to listeners, and frames sell out fast, so order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Welcome back. We are having a heartfelt conversation with relationship expert Laurie Gerber as we navigate the holiday season together. We reunite with family members, and, you know, 'tis the season for fa la 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 is what we hope for. Okay. So, Laurie, I love how you opened the door to communication ideas. What is everybody looking for? What does everybody need this holiday season? That is one great way to bring in some new family dynamics, roles, opportunities to celebrate, do things different. I'm kind of curious about, let's say, repeat patterns. Triggers, emotional triggers. There is something about the holidays, especially when you get around parents or siblings, that brings out the child in you, that brings
Yes.
out that wounded, 6-year-old who still is mad at the brother or the mother for this, or that. What is it about the holidays that triggers such strong emotion?
Well, first of all, just being in your childhood home. I
Mm,
mean, I just think, when I even walk by where my dad was in the hospital, I start to have all the same feelings I had when he was in the hospital because the
yeah.
place and the smell and the sounds and we're animals and we're very porous to location. So I think seeing the food, seeing the people being in the space is just triggering. It just is. This
Hmm.
is why we don't this is why we avoid certain places and we should. But you can't really avoid your home if that's where the
Right.
holidays are. The other thing is that we're drinking, and
Mm.
not all of us, but
Well, yes.
that does not help with our sensitivity and our ability to really maintain our calm.
Mm,
So, and I don't think I can blanket say, don't drink on the holidays, but I think we need to be aware of it. So, whenever anyone tells me a story of a holiday situation going south, being extra triggered, getting into that same old fight, having that same old issue arise, I always say, well, how much alcohol was involved? And
mm,
then it's like a light bulb goes off and they go, oh, right, right. So, I'm not saying you maybe might want to not drink. That might be smart, or drink less or hydrate more. But I also just want you to be aware that it makes everyone extra, right? It just makes everyone less inhibited, more likely to do the thing. And if they've been not sharing their true thoughts and feelings with you all year long, well, here's their
It sure
chance.
does come out then.
Right. And it's
Yeah.
moderately safe. You're probably not going to be violent with everybody around. And if you're
Yeah.
drinking, everyone's a little, loosened up. So people really do unfortunately save some of that stuff for that situation.
Yeah. And I find that that also opens the door for those awkward conversations,
Right.
awkward,
Right.
whether it's politics or something
Right.
from the past or, whatever it may be. It's that moment at the table when everybody just sort of swallows and no one knows what to say.
It's so
How do you
funny.
navigate those situations?
I was hoping you would ask me this because, again, I want to give people permission. And this is going to seem so radical, but you can actually have certain topics be off limits.
Yes.
So my family actually has a get together, a Zoom get together every week on Friday night. It's such a beautiful tradition. 3 generations come,
Uh,
but politics is off limits.
yeah.
I'm okay. It's like a 2-minute limit. I shouldn't say it's off limits. You can say, you can say a comment or two, but there's no crosstalk. We're not getting into it. It's not, because I designed this ritual, and the purpose of the design of the ritual for me was us being together, updating each other on how we are. We have show and tell. Everybody gets to show and tell. There can be special topics, but the purpose is not complaining. The purpose is not arguing. The purpose is not debating. The purpose is not winning someone over. So that's actually off limits. And then I'm sure everyone who's listening has a list of things specific to them. For example, I'm trying to sell my house right now. And if one more person asks me, have I sold the house yet? As if I'm not going to tell the people closest to me in my family that I sold the house.
When it sells?
It's like when you're pregnant and did you have the baby yet? Like, you're going to know. We have social media.
Right.
So I just, so everyone has, and I coach daters, right? Women over 50. That's my niche. And so all these poor women going to Christmas or holiday parties and holiday get-togethers with still single have to answer those awkward questions. So you really are allowed to say in advance, these topics are off limits, or this is my answer. So you don't have to ask me when we're together. And then take over the conversations, y'all. If you're listening to this podcast, you are a thinking, heartfelt woman who can come up with 3 great topics to bring up. What are you most grateful for is an obvious one.
Obviously.
What's the best thing that happened this year? What are you most excited for next year?
I love that. Is that your solution? I mean, I like the fact that you're laying out the ground rules, but I mean, when people drink, the rules are forgotten. And so something's going to come out.
Right.
So how do you pivot and negotiate that situation if someone does say something that
Right.
is not off color, not appropriate,
Right.
not, of the season, and on and on.
Of the season. A nice way to put it, Dominique.
You know what I
You are
mean.
probably very diplomatic. I'm like, no, we're not talking about that.
Yeah, I'm too diplomatic.
But Dominique would say, it's not of the season. Please refrain.
Please refrain. Please carry
it's not
on.
of the season. But I mean, don't underestimate the crowd out method, right? It's like if you eat enough salads, you're not going to be hungry for potato chips, right? If you bring up enough great topics and board games, right? I'm sorry, but games are great. Not just board games, all kinds of games are great for people who disagree. Everybody can agree it's fun to play a game. Yep. Then you're crowding out those awkward moments. But I'm fine with when someone says something inappropriate or incendiary with you just saying, we're not going to talk about that. Or can I talk to you in the hall? I want to ask you something. Right? Just break it up. Create a diversion. You can do it. It's worth it.
You know what else I think? And this is something, I don't know if you've ever done this, but I've put this into play once and I was so impressed. The old sales rule, the customer's always right. That when you hear something that's offensive or that you want to defend yourself, you want to get into this sparring match or whatever. And that if you just look at that person and say, you know what, you're right. You're right. Carry on. Next conversation.
Right. It's like when you're on the ice.
Stop
right.
in their tracks.
Right. Right.
Tell
me more.
Right.
Tell me more. Yeah. Oh, I wasn't expecting that.
I wasn't expecting that. Oh, you're right. So, Barb, what do you think about blah, 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 blah. And you move on to,
great strategy.
Else. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I did it once and I couldn't believe how well it works. I'm like, gosh, that old sales trick does work.
Okay. It's psychology. It's good.
It is.
So what you resist persists. So what you resist persists.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. What about healthy boundaries? Everybody's may look a little different and everybody may have different expectations or roles. I think that's also something to talk about is delegating and roles and what I will do and what I won't do. Kind of go through that.
That's so good. And again, I nobody wants to do this because it
I
is
know.
so against our nature to plan it in advance and to
Yeah.
have those hard conversations in advance. But if you try it just once, not only will the holiday go so much better, but now a new culture will be born
Mm,
of you existing and having needs and having that
right.
executive function of, hey, I'm really thinking about this. What do you think in
Hmm.
advance? And I love how you said it. I actually think how you said it is brilliant, especially as you start with, here's what I'm willing to do.
Mm.
And you don't even have to say, and here's what I'm not willing to do. You can just
Hmm.
say, here's what I'm willing to do. Who wants to do blah, blah, blah? Or here's what I'm willing to do. Is there anything else that's important to y'all that you'd like to take on? So you
Right.
don't even ever have to say a negative word in order to be clear about your
Hmm.
boundaries. But I mean,
Yeah.
I like to just set the example of being so completely authoritative, right? Like I go, here's my gift list 2 months in advance, right? Like here's what you can get me, and
Hmm.
because my kids are still trying to. I told the peers, the people in my generation, they don't have to worry, but my mother still gets me something, my kids still get me something. I'm like, here's the list, here's the approved list. Don't anybody stress out. Don't anybody wonder. But I'm the extreme, right, in terms of lack of romance and desire to plan and be nerdy about
Mm,
it. But just take anything from my tool bag and use it as you feel, as you feel that you could. But I don't
yeah.
expect that other people will be quite as extreme as I am.
Sure. Well, I mean, everybody is unique, and at least you are open about your uniqueness. I think too often people stay silent in the name of pleasing
Right.
and then become resentful because they've
Exactly.
overextended themselves, either
Exactly.
emotionally, either with time or monetarily,
Yeah,
right? And
totally.
that's the other part that I want to dive into because everybody comes from a different background of what they can do with their time and with their resources. And I find that too many people opt in when they need to either opt out or opt back. That's kind
Right.
of how I want to look at it. And especially with gifts and the money spent, food and decoration and all of this, I
Right.
think that it becomes so much about money and finances and looks and but it loses the realism and the meaning of the holiday and the connection. And I feel for people who feel oversaddled and over committed. So help some people navigate that.
And then it's so stressful. And then even
Very
January is so stressful because now you're in debt and you've gained 10
right.
pounds and people are mad at each other. It's
Yeah, it's
it's
a
a
mess.
bad it's a mess. So I think, and again, the way you framed it, I love, because I think you could say, here's what I think I can do. I
Mhm.
think I can provide the main course, and I need everybody to bring the sides and the desserts and make it a potluck. Here's what
Right.
I can do. I can get you one gift this year that's really special to you, but I'm going to need your father to handle stockings, or I'm going to need your grandmother to handle stockings, or I'm going to need you kids to do the stockings this year, or whatever it is. Anything can be renegotiated. To
Mm.
your earlier point of, you can mix it up, because what everyone really suffers from, and yes, we do like gifts, we do, but I think we also all agree that what actually makes us feel good is being together, feeling connected, feeling loved, feeling
Mhm.
that closeness. And that we do ruin that. We ruin that by over drinking, overeating,
Mhm.
overextending ourselves, overspending. And so we just have to keep that in mind as the front running idea, is save the togetherness. So it's a focus on what we're going to do, what kinds of conversations we're going to have, what we're going to do together. Can we make the cookies together? Can we do the
Mm.
cooking together? Can that be the activity? For us, every Christmas Day, that's the activity. We all cook together,
Mm. I
because
love it.
we did it a different way in the past, where one or two people was exhausted and overworked by
Yep.
the end of the day.
Right.
And okay, if you have a young child, your job for the day is to be with that young child. But if you don't have a young child, if you're 10 or up, I think you should be helping in the kitchen, and everybody should be helping in the kitchen. And again, we have a spreadsheet and everybody has a dish. That
We
is,
have a
but
spread
that's
I love your
we have
Christmas
spreadsheets for
spreadsheet,
everything. We
Lori.
do. We do. You should it's an addiction level to spreadsheets. But
Oh,
anyway,
no, but obviously it's working for you,
it's
which I
working.
think is so
Everyone
good.
knows
It's
what's
so good.
expected of them and is
Yes.
proud to contribute because this is what we know. What brings
Yes. No
value and
surprises.
meaning into people's lives is feeling like they contributed. Oh, I made the mashed
Yes.
potatoes. I made the charcuterie board. That's my 21-year-old specialty now. And now we all have to
Fabulous.
have charcuterie on
Charcuterie boards,
Christmas.
yes, 'cause they're on trend.
Yes. Yes. So
Oh, it's good. It's good. Again, communicate, lay it out. And even that 10-year-old is going to have a sense of pride and accomplishment for being
exactly.
a part of the equation and baking something instead of sitting on the sidelines or when is dinner or when can I play with
Oh
this?
yeah.
No, you're part of a family experience. And that's amazing. And I certainly don't want to paint the holidays as okay, how do we navigate speed bumps and potholes and all of that? I also think if with the right intentions, it is such a great opportunity to maybe heal some past
Mhm.
relationships, forge deeper connections with people that you haven't seen in a while.
Mm.
There is opportunity in this gathering and the get together, and especially if everybody's coming from a place of honoring the meaning of the season. So, how can we capitalize on these potential opportunities?
You are taking it up a notch, aren't you?
Ooh,
Come
trying,
on. No, not just surviving, thriving during the
thriving.
holidays. What? A healing
That's
during
it,
the
girl.
holidays? Oh my gosh. I love it. So, the best approach, if there is trauma, if there is pain, if there are past events and circumstances that are unresolved in a family, do not go right there for the holidays. I don't recommend it. And I've seen a lot of people try it actually because they think it's the only time they're going to see their family. I highly recommend. Now we're too late, truly,
Mm,
but I
yeah.
really recommend pick a time in January. Go visit, go spend time one on one with the person that you have the lack of resolution with. But because the holidays are coming up and you're going to see them, this is what I would do. This is what is acceptable. This is what will work. Start asking them about their history. Whatever
Uh-huh.
the area is that you're interested in, ask them their history with money, their history with love, their history with their own parents. What were your parents like? What was growing up in that place like? What was it like with your siblings when you were younger? How was your dating life when you were my age? Anything like that. So
Mm,
just interview and collect data and connection. And if they don't want to talk about it, obviously that's interesting. But if they don't want to talk
mhm.
about it, great. Have a few questions lined up. But if you can get that person that you want to be closer to talking about their own life and start to hear their worldview and where it comes from, that
Mm.
is then the foundation if you then want to go deeper into things that have hurt you.
That's beautiful. And you know what? As you're saying that, it reminds me too, we both have lost parents recently. And there are so many precious opportunities to talk to the elders in our lives and ask them questions, especially around the younger generation, so they can hear those old stories. And so maybe we, as the bologna in the sandwich,
Right.
can be the ones to initiate these conversations and ask mom and dad about certain things and traditions so that the younger generation can hear about that. And that would foster some interesting conversation, wouldn't
You
it?
will be so glad you did that. As having just come off burying my father,
Yeah,
those stories are priceless, so
they are.
precious. The good ones and the sad ones, all of them. And by the way, turn on your little voice memo on your phone. Just put it on
Record
the
it,
table and
record it.
just press record. You will be
Mm,
so happy you have that. It's
yeah,
priceless.
yeah, that's great. I really want people to approach the holidays. What can I do to protect myself? Again, set boundaries, but what other opportunities do you think are out there for people during this time?
Well, I think it's a great time to date.
I
I
was
think
waiting
it's
for that.
I think it's a great time to
Okay.
introduce people to your family.
Okay. Well, all right. So now that you've said that, you're making me also think about something, and that is the dynamics between a husband and wife during this
Yes.
season,
Yes.
right? Okay. So If you're not married, maybe you talk about the new man in your life or whatever, or bring him if you want to expose him to that wildness. But Lori,
Crash
my
course.
gosh, let's talk about couples
Yes.
going through the holiday season because you're dealing with in-laws, you're dealing with
It's
children.
insane.
It's
It's madness.
wild.
Yes.
Okay,
So
how do we
here's
best
my
prepare?
favorite line. What's your
Hmm,
vision? What's your
yeah,
vision? What's your vision? It's
yeah,
such a great open-ended question. You should ask everyone, right? The elders, the youngs, and
yeah.
the partners, because you are gonna be shocked what you hear. Your partner might go, just I want to survive it. Or my vision is, he might say some romantic ideal, or he might say, let's just keep our moms apart. Or he'll say whatever's top of mind. But if you don't ask, you're not gonna find out. But it's a head, heart, body approach, starting with
Mhm.
heart. What's your vision? What's important to you? What do you want to look back on January 10th and go, oh, I'm really proud of us for doing that. So you start with the heart, and then you go, okay, we got that vision in place. Now, what do you think could go wrong? What could be our obstacles? What do we need to plan for? What do we need to do with Uncle so and so who drinks too much, or is inappropriate with the cousins, or whatever, right? What are we going to do? How are
That's
we
a whole other
gaming that?
podcast.
I mean, but we all have an uncle. Okay, so
Yep.
what are we doing? We're thinking, we're strategizing, we're game planning, we're figuring it out together as teammates with a shared vision. Even though we might be focused on different parts of the vision, we now share a vision because we talked about it. And then, okay, what are we going to do? And again, my husband and I have literal timestamps, like when's the turkey going in, if the turkey needs to come out at this, and when do we need to have people come in order to help cook, and da, 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 da. So you do have to write it out, and you do have to assign assignments and tell
Mhm.
people what they have to do, what they have to bring, what they shouldn't bring, when they should come, when they should leave. That's another thing we do. We tell people when they need to leave.
Oh,
It's
that's an
so we
interesting
we
one.
are
How does that go over?
aren't we nutty? Like, we're so weird. I know. Every time I
Well,
say
and
this
how
stuff
no,
out loud, I
I
go,
want the tactics. How do you do that? I mean, you come at 10, but you're out the door by 3? How do you handle that?
we need to wind down. We need to wind down at about 8. Just know that, right? We need to fly the
Right.
next day, or we need everyone's help cleaning up at the end of the day.
Mhm.
And this is so iterative, right? Like, I just think about, again, to your point, it changes every year because we learned something from last year, and I add a new little reminder in my in my calendar to be like, don't forget, ask people
Mm.
to clean up in advance. Don't forget.
Mhm.
We learned this crazy thing, which is we travel on Sundays to a place, and we travel back on Saturdays from a place.
Okay.
That's a hack we learned because we'd get home on a Sunday, and it'd be like crazy town to get ready for Monday. And
Right.
if delays in a plane, which we know are now commonplace, it would just ruin us. And same
Mm.
with, we needed to be home to like digest our week and pack and clean up and leave our house the way we wanted to before we left. So we always would leave on a Sunday and come back on a Saturday. And now everybody just
Yeah.
expects that from us because we did it enough times.
Mm. Well, I want to ask you also, we're going to take a quick break and thank our sponsors for providing this content for free. But it's not always just the day of. Oftentimes, family stays, especially if they're coming
Sure.
from out of town. So, how do we handle the prolonged visit? And Lori's going to have an answer to that on the backside of this break. There is something so magical about finding a true treasure, the one of a kind piece that feels like it was just waiting for you. And that's exactly what it feels like every time I shop The Real Real. It's not just holiday gifting, it's discovering those rare, special, deeply personal finds you won't see anywhere else. The Real Real is the most trusted name in authenticated luxury resale. It is where I go when I want to give a gift that actually means something, something unique, thoughtful, and unforgettable. The Real Real makes it so easy to find the perfect gift for those hard to shop for people. No more generic gifts or bath bombs. Their trending data, expert picks, and gift guides really help to narrow it down. Here's the best part: you can shop luxury brands from the comfort of your couch at 90% off retail. Brands like Gucci, Fendi, Prada, Louis Vuitton, Tiffany and Company, Cartier, so much more. And unlike other resale sites, everything The Real Real sells is authenticated in person by luxury and fashion experts. The Real Real is the world's largest and most trusted resource for authenticated luxury resale. With thousands of pre loved luxury arrivals daily, nobody does resale like The Real Real, and no one makes the holidays shine brighter than The Real Real. And now get $25 off your first purchase when you go to therealreal.com/over50. That's therealreal.com/over50 to get your $25 off. Start shopping now at therealreal.com/over50. You all know I love a good style moment, and that's exactly why Revolve is my go to style destination. I love Revolve because it meets me in every season and every chapter, whether I'm dressing for a date night, a speaking event, a vacation, or just elevating my everyday basics. And right now, I'm shopping for a little wardrobe refresh. Picked up a couple of capris, a little bit of lace, even a beautiful evening gown. Some of my recent favorites, brands like Helsa, Norma Kamali, Lovers and Friends, Amanda Uprichard, pieces that just make you feel put together the moment you slip them on. And the one thing I love about shopping on Revolve.com is how easy they make it to actually find what you want. Their curated edits for every occasion keep me from endlessly scrolling. And the recommended for you lists always know my style a little well, if you know what I mean. And Revolve has everything 1,200 plus brands and 100,000 styles across fashion, beauty, and home with authentic, high quality products, new arrivals daily, and inclusive sizing options from extra, extra small to 4X. And hey, how about that fast 2 day shipping and easy returns? It's one of the many reasons I always come back. So, whether it's a weekend away, a big night out, or just a little style refresh, your dream wardrobe is just one click away. Head to revolve.com/flourishing, shop my edit, and take 15% off your first order with code flourishing. Fast 2 day shipping, easy returns. It's literally the one place you need to shop from. That's revolve.com/flourishing to shop my favorites and get 15% off your first order with code flourishing. Offer ends November 24th, so happy shopping. Hey, we are just plain busy, whether you're a mom or a grandmom. We do everything for everybody, and sometimes our own wellness gets bumped to the bottom of the list. Well, let's talk about Live It Up Super Greens. What a great opportunity for you to incorporate this in your daily habit. You get all the greens and the health that you need without the hassle or the fuss. You scoop, you mix, you go. Can you do that? I know I can. You've seen me do it. So, whether we're tackling maybe drop off at school, conference calls, or stuff around the house, let's make sure we check this box. Live It Up Super Greens is an all natural blend of more than 20 superfoods formulated with organic vegetables, probiotics, digestive enzymes, and naturally derived ingredients. Just one scoop a day. You know what you're going to get? Good gut health. You're going to support your immune system and have energy so you can tackle every single thing that's on your list. And look, I know it's a lot. I love my Live It Up Super Greens, and you will too. Live It Up is offering you 15% off your first order, including subscriptions with code flourishing. Plus, shipping is always free. Head to letsliveitup.com/flourishing and use code flourishing for 15% off your first Super Greens order. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Head to letsliveitup.com/flourishing and use code flourishing for 15% off your first Super Greens order. Welcome back. So good to have you, Laurie. This conversation is giving me so much peace, but it's so funny because every time you say something, I'm like, oh, I need to ask her about this. And there was that. So before we went to commercial break, I was going to ask you about prolonged stays, and I want to get to that first. People will travel from out of town and then they will make the most of it by staying, through the weekend or whatever. So as I was listening to you say, yo, out the door by 8, you can't say that to the people who flew in.
I
So
mean,
now
can
you're,
you though?
I don't know. Can you? I mean, there is a Best Western
let
down the
me
road.
break your brain for a minute. So I'm just writing everybody a big fat permission slip. Now,
Okay.
you can say no to things that you have formerly said yes to. I'm not
Okay.
saying there won't be consequences. You would have to do it with grace, and there might be consequences, and you have to assess those consequences. Really,
Okay.
right?
That's
But
true.
and it's so funny because it can be worth it, and it could also not be worth it. And so what I
That's
try
the
to
thing.
do
You've got to assess.
is, yes, you got to weigh everything. So sometimes we also focus on what isn't going to work about the visit versus what is. So, for example, having grandma stay could be really annoying because it displaces someone from the bedroom, or it's too many people in the
Mhm.
kitchen, or it's sharing the bathroom with too many people, or it's just annoying questions or behaviors. But if you figure out that she can play X game with the grandchild, or she can be put to work on this recipe, or if you game it, you can actually end up getting a rebate, to use the analogy,
A
right? Like
rebate.
getting something
A
back for
holiday
it.
rebate?
A holiday
Takes on a whole new
rebate.
meaning.
Just figure, but again, it's like you can't sit there powerless and just go, we'll see
Right.
what happens. You have to author the conversations,
Mm.
and you have to author what's going to happen during the day. And again, that goes to, in advance, how would you feel about sleeping in this room? How would you feel about this? Would you consider a hotel? Would you hate that? Maybe they would love it. I know
Mhm.
families that for years they're cramming into this little house, and finally someone goes, "Hey," or another baby gets born, right? And
Right.
everyone goes, "Hey, how would you feel about a hotel?" And they go, "Oh, I would love a hotel. That sounds like a great idea." And then
And
there's
sometimes ponying up for that expense could save a
exactly.
family.
Truly. So, and it
Yeah.
really depends. Like, I personally, this is another confession, I need my own bedroom, Dom. I need to have a place
I'm
I
the
can go. I am
same
a
way.
highly sensitive person. I am
Yep.
overstimulated easily. I
Me
need to.
too.
So that's my rule. Even when we travel, I have my own room. And if it can't be accommodated, I will accommodate myself. I will either, I participate in home exchanges, so I can get a home exchange, I can get an Airbnb, I can get a hotel room, I can get another hotel room, I can,
Mhm.
but even if I'm visiting someone, because not everyone can afford hotel rooms, I
Right.
that's my requirement. I'll sleep in the kitchen alone. Like, I don't care what, but I that's my requirement. So I'm just standing up for my requirement so
Smart,
that
and you're closer to the leftovers that way too, so there's something
exact
about a cot in the
again,
kitchen.
rebates. It's give and take. It's give and
Rebate.
take. You got to focus on the parts that are going to work for you, and try not to focus as much on the hard parts, while still acknowledging this is hard. That's another thing. My
Mm.
husband and I have a meeting before any guest ever comes to visit. We have a specific meeting. We have a checklist, a spreadsheet where we go, who's making the bed, who's buying the food, what meals are we having together, when do they expect to see us. It's
Mhm.
literally a checklist
Yep.
based on the mistakes we've made so many times by not planning for visitors and not respecting ourselves,
Mhm.
that it is totally different to have visitors than to not have visitors. It's a
You
whole other
just
thing.
said the key word right there, respecting yourself. In the process, you are opening up
Yes.
your home, you are opening up your life, you are opening up your space and your normalcy to
Yes.
and now abnormal environment. Wonderful as it is, great to have everybody
Yes.
together. These are memories that will last a lifetime, but you've got to lay the groundwork. And I think also, and I'm sure you're going to say yes, that when you do have guests over, just like you're writing lists for the day of, also to say, you know what, the next day is going to be about, I just need quiet. I'm going to
Right.
go for a walk, just excuse me. I just need some quiet time, or I've got to immerse myself in some work again to kind of map out the day
Yes.
or two post because my gosh, you're exhausted, but you still have duty and obligation.
Right. Set expectations. It works for almost all healthy people. If
Yeah.
someone's not mentally well, if someone's not healthy, they might freak
Then
out,
they
they might
may
give you
not
a
be
hard
okay with
time,
it.
but most
Yeah.
people will go, "Thank you for telling me what you need." And when you start to
Mm,
model saying, "This is my vision, this is the plan, this is how we're going to execute," then everyone starts to play that way. And you teach
yeah.
people, like, this is how our family does it. We vision, we plan, we think about it, we try to meet everyone's needs, and then we execute as best as possible according to our plan, with flexibility, of course.
Mhm.
And so you're really training people to also respect themselves, right? That everybody should gets a voice, everybody respects themselves, and we do our best to see if we can meet everyone's
Meet
needs.
in the middle somewhere.
Yeah,
And there's always going to be some level of compromise. We are never
of
going to get it
course.
fully
Right.
everything that we want, but it's like, okay, I'm willing to bend a little bit here if I'm given this here. So it's an
Exactly.
ebb and a flow, and it only happens through discussion and negotiation. Which I want to circle back to something that you said earlier, talking about the stress on a couple during the holidays. And you had mentioned, okay, everybody sit down and talk about what's your vision for the holiday? What's your vision? What if the two visions are so diametrically opposed? I mean, let's say your
Yes.
husband says, you know what? It's been a little stressful the past couple of Christmas, holidays or whatever. What about just we as a nucleus go take a trip? somewhere, and that's it. And that's our Christmas. And you're like, whoa, that's not my vision. My vision
Right.
is still hosting and family. And we only have
Right.
so many years left with mom and dad. How do you bridge
Right.
that gap?
Ooh,
Because that's
such a
like
good
Venus and
question.
Mars.
That's such a good question. Here's the big hack. You go, why?
Mm,
Right? Because there are infinite routes to the destination.
sure.
Just like the GPS is way up high and can look down and go, oh, there's infinite routes from point A to point B being your vision or what you want to experience. We can't see the infinite routes. We are so limited in our brains and how our brains work. We
Mhm.
only see do Christmas like we always do it or get the heck out. Like go to Jamaica, right? Like it's we're very limited in our creativity.
Mhm.
And we think the route is the destination. And I, by the way, I talk about this when I talk about dating because everyone thinks tall, dark, and handsome is the destination, but
Mhm.
it's actually a one route to the destination and
Right.
probably not the best route to the destination that you really want, which is to be madly in love with the love of your life. So it's the same with planning a holiday or a vacation is there's something you want to feel.
Mhm.
So the person who's saying I just want to get away with us is wants to feel peaceful, connected with his wife. I don't know, spacious. There's a feeling he wants to feel. She
Yeah.
wants to feel like a good mother, like she connected
Mm.
everyone, like she put on a great, show, whatever she wants. So each one has a thing they want to feel.
Mhm.
Once you know what you want to feel and experience, then you can see many more potential routes. So maybe we do 2 days here and 5 days here, or maybe we do the usual and then we go away in February, or maybe
Mm.
we go away right now for a weekend, or maybe we
Right.
have a staycation and send the kids to my mother for a weekend and reconnect and do that and then
Mm.
see how we feel and decide about Christmas in a week. Right? So
Right.
all these new routes become available, routes become available once you go, well, why? What do you want to feel? That's the heart of the matter. Is
Mm.
what are you trying to fix right now? Like what's really going on behind it? And then you can start to see infinite ways to fix that.
That's great. The why. You've got to get to the why. And oftentimes it's I need peace and I need connection. I don't want to lose that connection with
Right.
you. As I'm thinking about just all the different dynamics, something just popped into my head. So my dearest friend Holly, her daughter just got married, and it made me think, oh wow, okay, so I'm not at this season yet, but she's at this season now when you've got your children who are married, and where are you going to spend Christmas? And
Spreadsheets.
does everybody come together, or but right, because now we've got new layers to this wedding cake of how do we do the holidays?
Families are large and ever changing.
Mhm.
And families have different needs. So my mother has certain needs, my husband's mother has certain needs, my children have certain needs, my brother's children have certain needs,
Mm.
and my husband's sister has certain, they're all different constituencies, right? And all of them
Yeah.
have different needs. So when I go to start, this is what I do in November is I start to plan the next year of trips and holidays and vacations and I color code them. New York City trips are now in green because that's just for me to go home and see my family. We have Laurie alone trips that since menopausal stuff set
Mhm.
in, that's a new thing that has to be in the calendar
Mhm.
every year. We have when we see Will's mom. We
Okay.
have when we see my brother's family and my mother. We have visitors, and then we have just my mom, and then we have just trips for me and the kids. Right. So all these different permutations of family togetherness. And I color coded because I want to lay out the year and see is everybody getting what they need, right? Am I seeing my
Mm.
mother frequently enough? Am I seeing his mother frequently enough? Am I seeing the other families enough? Again, according to our ever changing needs. So there, before my dad died, I didn't feel quite as much need to spend time with my mother, but things changed, and so we keep iterating. But what this spreadsheet does is it helps me go, I am meeting, it helps me know I'm meeting people's needs. It helps me go, Mom,
Mhm.
don't worry, I'm going to see you again in 2 months. Or Nana and Mom, my grandma and Nana each have equal equal visits, right? And
Right.
and so I can sort of make something that feels very qualitative, a little bit quantitative. Again, same thing as I do
Mhm.
with dating, right? I make something that's very vibrational and qualitative, quantitative, and I go, see, I this is actually working. I can show you that it is working, and I can show you when you're going to see us this year, when you're invited, and all of that. So it's visible, and everybody has access to this spreadsheet, by the way. Right? Anybody wants to
Mm.
know the plans, they don't have to ask me, which is
Right. Just take a
annoying in
look.
and of itself, right? And everybody,
Mhm.
the kids have different schedules. It really is an empire to run. It really is. I don't know how we 50 something women do it without
Whew, it's a lot.
spreadsheets. So without
Yeah.
shared spreadsheets.
But that's good. And that when families expand and you've got children now marrying and there are
Right.
in-laws and other sides, that way everybody can see. And then I
Right.
think that's where the negotiating begins, right?
Right.
I'll get you guys for Thanksgiving and then you'll go to the
Exactly.
other family for Christmas
Exactly.
and maybe we flip-flop it next year. So
Right.
again, conversation, negotiation, and spreadsheets.
And spreadsheets. That's the answer to
And
everything.
spreadsheets.
And right, it really
Exactly.
is, my kids are also not married yet, married off and partnered off yet, but
Mhm.
we have to recognize the elders die, the youngins grow and procreate, and there is a balance to it. And it is if you're dealing with only 3 or 4 generations, you can balance it, but it takes executive functioning and it takes visioning, planning,
Yep.
thinking, and executing. And but it's a real job. And I think the big takeaway I have from this
Mm.
conversation is just to acknowledge you and appreciate you, because just in case no one else is, let's do it now before it all really gets heavy, and say, wow, you're really
Mm.
taking on some, first of all, the emotional labor, but also just all of the physical and mental labor of making a time really special. It's a big, big deal. I don't think I realized it when we started this conversation.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. Acknowledgement. Everybody wants to be felt. Everybody wants to be heard. Everybody wants to feel a sense of ownership and balance and not feeling taken advantage of. And I think sometimes that's how people are left depleted and drained and overextended. And so it's my goal that that doesn't happen this year for people. I think you have provided a fabulous flow chart, my dear, to make sure that these things don't happen. I'm going to wrap it up with the Flourishing Five one word answers. One word you want people to carry into the holidays this year.
Authorship.
That's perfect. A boundary that has changed your life.
Having my own room. Hands down.
That's totally evident. A grounding practice that you swear by.
Meditation.
Mhm.
Duh.
A-
Sorry, guys. Sorry. No
yeah.
new information.
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
okay. A tradition you love or one you happily let go of.
Well, one I happily let go of was making the Thanksgiving meal. And
Mm.
one I love is my weekly family Zooms.
Yeah, I love that
Yeah.
too. That's neat. The most joyful moment that you witnessed during a holiday.
Sorry, all I can think of is a baby. Like, I just want to hold a baby. Like that, I'm just like, can I just manifest that? I just want to hold a baby. I just need someone to
Yeah.
hand me a baby to hold. That And
Oh.
I'm trying to think of a recent, it's so funny. I'm
Mm,
the maker of the memories. I don't care. I really don't. Like, I care that everybody else is happy. I
mhm.
personally love my weekly family Zooms, but I think that really just tells you who I am. I'm someone who
Yeah.
really likes the routine and the
Mhm.
regular oatmeal, just like
Consistent. Yeah,
regular
yeah, yeah.
healthy connection
Mhm.
that there's not like no special moment calls out to me.
Well, it sounds like your weekly Zooms are that, and I
Yeah,
think too often people wait for the one
right,
time a year to get
right,
together to create that, and to your point,
right.
why wait? Why wait for one day a year to have this
Right,
connection, this heart, this meaning? Let's create
right,
tradition, let's create connection throughout the year, and I think that certainly takes a load off
right.
come Thanksgiving,
Oh, that's
come
so true.
Christmas. Right?
So
I think
true.
you right there, you have completely teed it up with that. If there is one takeaway, have the weekly Zoom with the family, stay
Mm,
connected, stay loving, stay engaged in each other's lives. And then when you see each other, you just kind of pick up from last
right.
week where you left
You
off.
just cook for each other, really, and play games.
Right.
It's really, it's nice. It's not
Yeah,
stressful.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Lori, this has been just fun and productive and helpful. And I know I've got takeaways, and I can imagine that everybody else does too. So thank you for gifting us with your time this holiday season. Congratulations on your move to the country where you can look at trees and cows and snow and not one building next to another, next to another.
Yes. Love it.
Yeah, love it for you and look forward to having you back again in the future, my dear.
Great.
Yes, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to you. I don't know about you, but I'm thinking, where was Lori years ago? I could have used this conversation so many years in the past. I am so grateful we had it today, and hopefully it will tee you up for a very beautiful, wonderful, and successful holiday season. So today's Dear Dominique is totally in line with what we just talked about. Dear Dominique, in keeping with your crazy holiday pressure podcast, is anyone else struggling with keeping up with your mother's holiday legacy pressure? My mom has not passed, thankfully, but is too elderly to keep up the large holiday gatherings. It has passed to me. Although I'm happy to have holidays at my house, I find it a struggle to keep up with her grand style. She was a homemaker her whole life and loved to cook and decorate, spending lots of time and money on the holiday food and table. I am an okay cook. I enjoy a much more casual style than my mom. I feel like she, my children, and other relatives are expecting the same level of dishes and decor, where I wonder, do I really need 12 different dishes for Thanksgiving? Must we have 4 courses at Christmas? Wondering if anyone else is feeling this too. Thanks so much for bringing light to this time of life, Stephanie. Well, Stephanie, this podcast is dedicated to you. I think Lori honestly spelled out everything you needed to hear um, on how to navigate this. And first of all I can say is, as I'm reading your letter to me, you are not your mother. Therefore, what your mother loved and what she liked to do during the holidays may not necessarily be you and what you like to do. And I think that just because a torch is passed doesn't mean that it has to look the same way and feel the same way. And I think it needs to honor who you are as a person and what you like to bring to the quote unquote table. So if it's different, then that's okay. And I think to what Lori said, have conversations with your family and say, I know mom did this and we all loved, appreciated, and cherished her level, but it was what she did. It was her life. If being a homemaker was her career, and that is in and of itself a career, raising children and doing meals and home and family decor and decorating and holiday gatherings. If that was her lane, that's amazing. Honor it, celebrate it, recognize it, talk about it. If it's not necessarily your lane, or if it is to a lesser degree, let's honor, talk about, and celebrate that with your family members and do it in a way that doesn't stress you out or most certainly doesn't compare you to your mother. That's not fair. So I think those conversations will be really helpful for you. Like I said, everything that Lori said in this podcast resonated with me. And I'm so grateful that your question came in during this episode. I'm sure you probably caught the teaser reel for it and said, I need to dial into this one. So many practical tips, but definitely lay out the plan for the season. And please do not overextend yourself. Do not build up resentment, stress toward your mom and the way she did things, or your other family members and the expectations they may have on you to do things. It's not fair and it's not right. And again, this is about love. Let's get back to the meaning of Christmas and the meaning of the season and honor that. But thank you, Stephanie, for taking the time to write to me. And I wish you a beautiful and blessed Christmas. And all of you who are watching, I wish you just such a lovely holiday. whatever you're celebrating, I hope it is joy filled, memory filled, and full of laughter and opportunities, like we talked about today, to create new and special memories and conversations and to leave with a sense of peace and joy. Speaking of joy, you would make me so happy if you would, if you're watching on YouTube, give me a thumbs up if you like the conversation today. Subscribe to my channel. I have a podcast that comes out every Monday, Over 50 and Flourishing, and a YouTube tutorial that comes out every Thursday. Good old tried and true tutorials that have been around for over 10 years now. And if you are listening on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to Over 50 and Flourishing, first of all, thank you for being with me. If you would take the time to rate, review, subscribe, and share this podcast with a woman in your life who you know, who you love, who could benefit from this kind of content, I would appreciate that. I love looping in as many women, not only in our age space, but I've got a lot of younger women who are coming in as well, and they want to get a leg up. So if you know a 30 something or a 40-year-old or, whatever, who could benefit from this kind of content, please share with them as well. We are not just limited to over 50. I got a lot of 80-year-olds in here too, and I'm so grateful for you guys. So we cover a wide range of ages and topics, and I'm so grateful that you are with me and that this community continues to build. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Until next week.